Okay, so in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover a topic called inheritance, and that deals with making modifications to elements that are within nested divs. Okay, so now that we have this element in here, this new div within our content div, we may have situations where we have headings or text or other elements within our content div that we want to be styled in a way that is different to what we have in our inner div here. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to bring up my notepad again, come back to the HTML, and we're going to add some new elements here. Okay, so remember that the green section here is our div here called content, and within that we have two elements. We have our heading, which is here, and we have this gray div element here, okay, which has the ID called inner. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take out the heading for now, and I'm going to put in a paragraph. So I'm going to put P. I'm going to call this first paragraph /P. Good. And now what I want to do is I want to take this, what I just typed in, the first paragraph. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it inside of inner, the inner div here. So remember that when we're putting content within a div, we have to look for where the opening tag is and where the closing tag is. So I want this to be between the two of them. So I'm going to click inside, I'm going to paste my paragraph there, and I'm going to change the wording of it. Okay, so I'm going to call this second paragraph. Good. So if I save this and I look at what was happening, refresh. Good. So I have the first paragraph here within the content div, and also contained within the content div is my inner div here with the second paragraph. Okay, so what we want to do here is that we want to get into how we can style these two paragraphs independently of each other or at the same time. Okay, so first I'm going to do how we can style them at the same time. So I'm going to bring back up Notepad. So what I want to do is the first thing we have to do is that since all of these elements are located within our development that has the idea of content, we have to call that development first. Okay, so we do that in the way that we did previously by using hashtag, and then we call the ID that we assigned it, so content. Okay, so once you've done that, you can affect all of the tags within that particular element by putting the tag just after it. So you could put P, for example, because we're dealing with paragraphs. So what I'm going to do now is I have the element inside of content that I want to adjust. So now I can actually put in my brackets. So I'll put in my brackets and I'll apply some type of change to the paragraphs. Okay, so I'm going to put color white. Now let's see what's happened here. Save, refresh. Good. So we can see that the color has been changed to white, but this only allows me to change all of the paragraph elements to the same thing. I could also use IDs to change them individually, but there's other techniques. So let's say that I wanted only to change the first paragraph and leave the second paragraph as it is. I could do something. There's a particular instruction I could do. So I could come here, and after I call the ID for that particular div, I can put an arrow like this. And what this does is that this tells the website that you only want the direct descendants of your div to be affected by this command. So let me show you what I mean. So if I save this and I refresh this, we can see that it is now only changing the paragraph that is a direct descendant of our content div, and it is leaving the element that's within the nested div alone. Okay, so that's one. That's another way of kind of isolating the effect of these commands that we're using. And if I was to add a paragraph here to my sidebar, you would realize that these commands are not going to affect this at all, because the crucial part here is that we're calling the different sections of the website with these IDs, and we're making changes to elements within those sections. Alright, so if I come back here to my website here, well, to my HTML, sorry. What I could do is I could try adding paragraphs. Let me see, copy. I'm going to try adding this to the sidebar. And if I save this and I refresh this, you can see here that it's not affected, okay? Because we are singling this particular section of the website out by using the ID that we had assigned it, okay? So that's how these IDs, they really play an integral part in how you can set your website up. You know, they allow you to isolate different parts of your website and make changes to those parts, okay?